All right, Brad, you want to talk about Puerto Rico? We lied to the listeners. I told the listeners we were putting basketball on the back burner until November. But Brad wants to talk about Puerto Rico, so let's talk about Puerto
I
Rico.
did want to talk about Puerto Rico just a little bit, nothing too crazy. I mean, it was a great opportunity for the guys to, biggest thing was probably team bonding. Like, we're gonna go outside of the games in terms of what happened. Like, we brought in this hodgepodge of transfers. None of these guys were on the team last year in Bloomington, and them just some of them know each other, like Enright and DeVries know each other, and I think Josh Harris and Josiah Miles played together last year. So like there's some familiarity there, but for the most part, these guys are getting to know each other for the first time. So seeing them play a little beach volleyball action was something that was really cool to see. They're obviously, something that I noticed from that is that they're all very competitive, but they all like to have fun at the same time. And you ended up seeing that, in the games, the first game against some Puerto Rican university, poor kids just, I mean, that wasn't even fun for anyone, I feel like. And, I think everyone was kind of just getting ready for, what was it? Mega Super Bet to come into town and play them. And they had a little double header against them. And both games, double-digit point comebacks. I mean, that's a clear sign of competitiveness. These games don't matter at all, but yet here they are fighting and scrapping, figuring out ways to win in August. I think that's a really good sign for what this team could be. Saw a lot of, and then another thing that I noticed I was watching some of the games, and I think the biggest standout was Sam Alexis. And I say this because he was putting up double doubles in every game, and he's the one true five on the team. And I think the most common lineup in terms of minutes played in these games was Tatum Connerway alongside Lamar Wilkerson with DeVries, and then putting Bailey as natural position the 4 and rolling with Alexis at the 5. And that could be, may not be the starting lineup, but that's going to be what looks to be early on our not closing lineup or down the stretch
that'll be
lineup.
that's our counter to size.
Yeah, that is, and it looked really good. And another thing I noticed too was a lot of good team rebounding. DeVries was getting a lot of boards. Josiah Miles was getting a ton of boards. Bailey and Alexis were obviously getting a ton of boards. And collectively,
I saw Connerway's stats. He had a couple too.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch a ton of the game though, so it's like
I
game
didn't watch the
really.
full games either, but these are just things I'm picking up on, and they're really good signs early on. Obviously, we want to see them play an American college team to really get a sense of how good they're going to be, but it's very clear that they're meshing. Saw a lot of good actions, a lot of good sets, really good team rebounding. Lamar Wilkerson with a defensive stop at the end of the game to clinch the second game, alongside countered in the possession before that, a nice pass from Lamar Wilkerson to Reed Bailey to take the lead 81-80. I mean, when it came down to the stretch, like having those crucial in-game situations, obviously Tucker DeVries didn't shoot the ball very well out there, so he wasn't getting those late game looks, but to know that we can go Lamar Wilkerson, we can go Reed Bailey, we got 3 options end of game, like who's getting that last shot. It seems like it's going to be those 3 guys moving forward. Lamar Wilkerson looks to be what he looks to be meeting the hype a little bit. He looks like a great two-way player.
You could shoot the lights out of the ball.
Yeah, and he was shooting it really well too. And I'm not going to take a 3-game sample size to look at shooting in any way. Trent Sisley shot the ball really well. Hope that continues. That'd be awesome if he becomes a big contributor. Saw a lot of good things from Alexa Ristich. He was getting some key minutes. And then Josh Harris was getting a lot of boards when he was in. Very efficient. Like he would go in for 5 minutes and get 5 boards. Like he's probably the best rebounder on the team. So having that, I've named so many guys. So
you named the entire roster. Like
we have a ton of depth.
I don't know. It's
Nick Dorn and Jason Drake didn't even play.
Yeah, like I'm glad they were able to get competitive games in against guys that weren't also in an Indiana uniform. I'm happy they won. I enjoy a lot of the ball movement and the way it looks like they're playing in some of the short clips I saw. But in all honesty, like you said to open this up, the biggest takeaway from this trip is the ability to build chemistry. Those dudes were able to go out there, have a good time. Nobody got hurt. They got good work in. They were pushed competitively. Like Ant Wright was somebody who was talking about how good that mega super bet team was. And he said there was an international scout that said that team's got one NBA guy and a bunch of really solid, fringe college European pro guys. And it's like that's not nothing competition. So the fact that they were able to get those games in, I don't really care that they were down 20. I'm glad they came back. But even if they lost those games, like the point of this
It's
trip
not about that they're
wasn't to
down
go
20. It's the
3 and
fact that
0.
they came back. Like,
Well,
they
but
didn't
yeah,
have
but
to
the
do that.
point of the
It didn't
trip
matter.
was to see what you look like on the basketball court together and become a team. And it seems like those two things were accomplished. And obviously, it makes it 10 times better that they won. And so, and like the clips coming out of there of like DeVries going up and down the line and shaking everybody's hands who bought tickets, and like the experience. Like we had a friend who was there. So that was pretty cool. And it's like I'm glad the guys are happy. I'm glad the guys are healthy. I'm glad they'll be back in Indiana and just approaching the
Back to
season. But it's
business.
like yeah, exactly. It's football season. Like
Yeah,
I I'm glad I feel good about Indiana basketball, but like I wouldn't feel bad about Indiana basketball if they didn't come away with 3 wins this week. It's just that wasn't the point of the trip. I think mission
exactly.
accomplished.
Yeah, I think if they didn't get the sweep, I don't even think we talk about it at all, to be honest, because I don't really think it matters. It's so early. But the fact that it seems like they're a little bit ahead of schedule with those big wins, I think it's something to note. They're not going to get more than
Well, I don't
10
know how
minutes.
big the win is. Like there was no fans there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was no environment. Like you're playing with a different ball, different rules. Like it's like Indiana last year, and I'm not comparing this team to last year's team, and the vibes are completely different. But last year's team went into a closed scrimmage with fans at Tennessee and beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
I just wouldn't put too much stock into the results of the games. The fact that they shot the ball well, moved the ball well, that guys were rebounding, that we were like uh, pleasantly surprised with the performances of a lot of different guys that may have been potential question marks. And now we know that they have a couple of different lineups to counter that we aren't just thinking about in hypotheticals, like they were actually on the court together. These are all positives.
Yeah.
I just don't want to put too much stock into what the
Yeah.
results of these games.
Yeah. And the comebacks more so point toward the level of defense that's being played by these guys. Because to
And
be
the
able to come
competitiveness
back,
as well.
20, you got to get at least 10 stops, at least. So their
Well, they
ability to
went on a
do that,
70-19 run.
insane. Insane.
Lamar Wilkerson's reaction to that was very funny. If you can go find the clip, I highly recommend it.
Fun. All right, yeah, we said we wouldn't give them more than 10 minutes, so we're about up at time with basketball. So enough of basketball until they tip off in November. We'll talk. We'll cover it when they're on.
We'll bring them up periodically if they do something good. Like they're starting to pop up in like the top 7s and the top 12s and the top 5s. And it's like obviously with basketball, you want to get into those top 3s and then see them start closing some of these. But it's too early for that. Like visits are going to start coming like during football season, and that's another advantage for Indiana that we'll hopefully see pay dividends. Is like the football environment that you're going to be able to use towards basketball recruiting is going to help that as well. And it's not that Indiana struggles to recruit for basketball. They don't, obviously, but just another feather in the
I
cap for
don't
the team.
know in the DeVries era, but it seems like everything's off to the races. Already got a 4-star guard, but yeah, I guess are we wrapping up here?
That's all I got for this week, Brad. You got any closing thoughts?
Yeah. You always go closing thoughts. I was thinking about doing closing thoughts on you first to kind of throw it off,
Oh,
but I think it's a good tradition that you just asked me for closing thoughts. And we're wrapping up. School's about to start, so camp's wrapping up, and they're going to be more into a typical game week cadence when it comes to practices, and that's going to be really exciting for them as they kind of get into the groove of the season and approach what is going to be a very sneaky good Old Dominion team that is looking to win their own conference. So we'll preview them on game week, but yeah, a lot to look forward to. A bigger test than a lot of people are giving them credit for. Obviously, it's not Texas week 1, but it's Old Dominion, and they're a conference contender in their own right. This isn't they're probably a top 15 group of 5 team this year, and they're no slouch, right? Like if we don't show up with our A game, they can make it close. So yeah, getting ready for that, and yeah, super excited to kind of get into the season where we're going to 2 weeks. We still got to figure out our
yeah, we'll
in-season
get
schedule a little
itinerary and all
bit.
that good stuff. Will
We'll
be
figure it out.
figured out over the next 2-3
We got to
weeks,
run it by
and
the boss man a little bit too. I'm sure. And
I'm sure we'll get marching orders.
Yeah.
But I'm just pumped for the season. I'm at the Signetti point of like, what are we gonna get from Mendoza? Like, you'll see. Like, I'm at the point where I'm just done arguing with people on Twitter about it. Like, not that I'm gonna stop. Like, I got caught up 2 hours today with
Oh, we
some
gotta
dude that
keep
had no, but
we
gotta
gotta
keep the
ball
pressure going. But
we gotta
just like
ball these
I'm
guys.
at the point where it's like, yeah, cool. You can keep doubting this team. Like, they're gonna play football in 3 weeks. Like, you can choose to tune in if you want, or you can keep living in your fantasy world. And that's the point I'm at. It's like, this is a really good football team. Go up and down the roster. You look at the coaching staff, you look at the quarterback position, you look at the lines, both of them, you look at the talent they have returning production. Like, it's people want to talk about what metrics to use to determine whether a team's good or not. And then like after we determine all those metrics, they still go look at strength of schedule and the AP poll. And it just drives me absolutely crazy. It's insane. But
Can't wait
the
for
numbers
Ohio
will
State,
be what the
Texas,
numbers
man.
will be. And
Yeah.
this Indiana football team is going to be really good. And that's the exciting part.
Yeah. I'm excited because the Big Ten, it's a big question mark this year. I'm hearing Lincoln Kleinholz is holding on to that Ohio State starting job.
The West Dakota
He's got a
Heisman.
stranglehold on it right now, and he's not letting it go to Sayin so soon. And you could argue the same thing's going on in Oregon too. They have a really good backup over there. They haven't announced a starter. Might not be Dante Moore going into the year. So a lot of question marks in the Big Ten, and I think it leaves, like I've been saying all offseason, leaves it susceptible for a newcomer to kind of knock on the door, make some real noise. Obviously, we made some noise last year, but I'm talking going to Indy, right? And
Chaos is a ladder, Brad.
yeah, maybe we play Penn State twice this year. That's what I'm thinking about right now. And yeah, just looking forward to the season, and yeah, taking it 1 week at a time. It's off season mode, so we can talk big picture. But anyone who's watched Sigs Inside knows that once we get in season, it's strictly week to week, and we focus on 1 week at a time. We focus on Old Dominion. We're gonna have a whole preview show on Indiana State and Kennesaw State. We're gonna go into those teams and really learn about them, and it's gonna be a fun time. You guys are gonna really enjoy it in terms of how we do game week, and yeah, looking forward to finalizing that schedule.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And you can see all of that if you follow us at or subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We're chasing 500 subs before the season starts. We're close. I believe we're at 478. So I'm thinking we could get there before the season starts.
I think
Brad,
we can get there. I think we can get there before Thursday. How about that, guys?
That's Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell the Kroger cashier, as Jackson Johnson likes to say. You can follow the Voice of College Football at the VOCFB. You can follow Indiana VOCFB on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow me at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Appreciate everybody for being in the chat. We'll be back same time next week talking Hoosiers. And Brad's right. As the season gets closer, our lens gets tighter, and we narrow in on what's right in front of us. And so very, very excited for Indiana Hoosiers football. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Hoosiers.
Go
Never
Hoosiers.
daunted.